Hello. You froze up a little bit. You feel me? You hear me? All right, guys. Tonight we having a little technical difficulty, maybe because it's the heat. I don't know. But we here today. Me and Gene and Muhammad. We actually going to be speaking about leadership today, as we spoke about last week, and knowing the value of leadership and different tactics that we take to actually improve ourselves in leadership. So I'm waiting for my guest to come back on. In the meantime, we'll just have our open discussion. I'm just setting up a couple of things, and that's it. All right. So the topic for today is actually leaders actually creating space. I've actually been seeing that leadership is a very essential component. I got you back. So I've been seeing, I was actually filling in the audience about our topic at hand and what we're doing, and we're actually talking about creating space as a leader, and actually why that's really important, and basically different tactics that we can actually use to strengthen ourselves as leaders and to actually create new platforms and new foundations for ourselves to be leaders. And I've learned a couple of tactics. We're actually going to talk about those different things. And I just want Ms. Jean Muhammad to introduce herself real quick. Great colors too. I like those colors. The colors is awesome. I gotta get
Thank
me a turban like that. I used to wear a turban. I'm about to get me another
you.
turban. You just kind of brought me back. I don't know what's going on, but I think I'll probably have one of our next episode. We got to
Oh,
see
hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert, and I am really happy to be here with you this afternoon or morning or whatever time it
it.
may be that you're viewing this. And I may go out again, Nathaniel. I don't know if you explained to the
Same
audience.
here.
I am having problems with the internet, but I'm going to hang as long as I can and say as much as I can in the time allotted. And
Hmm.
this subject of leadership is so important that we are revisiting it again. So thank you, Nathaniel, for this topic because I don't think it can ever be exhausted
Mm.
because it's so important. And you asked a question last week about a person be a leader and not know it, you know,
You
I
thought
think
about it, so give me your thoughts on it, cause
and I have really, really thought about that because it's a thought provoking question. And so because I see it all the time, especially with us as in our communities, and I think it starts at home. I always say it starts at home. It starts with self. Um, Good afternoon,
good
Bessie E. Or
afternoon, Bessie.
yes, good
Nice to meet
afternoon.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, glad to
Thank
have
you.
you. Awesome.
So and so it really is to for us each as individuals to look at who are we leading, even if it's just our children.
Mm. Yeah.
Who are we leading? And understanding that we are all leaders and being able to accept that responsibility. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Nathaniel, because I know you have a topic that you want to discuss, and I want to discuss
Yeah.
it with you.
Yeah, definitely. That was a great opening. Who are we leading? And basically, I will actually add the why to it. Like, why are we leading? Right? Why do we place ourselves in leadership components? Why do we actually search for to get master's degrees and bachelor's degrees, and why do we take trainings and workshops, and even get into deep levels of meditation or yoga and things of that nature to bring us to a higher level. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say that we do that because it's a part of who we are. It's a part of our innate nature to actually lead and to develop and to grow.
Okay.
Without having an understanding that our purpose is to lead, our purpose is to increase, right? So I was speaking to somebody today. I went out to the park. I did a couple of workouts or whatever. I did my little TikTok video that I always do, and I just ran across a brother. We just sat down and started talking. And he seen my tripod. He's like, "Yo, you do podcasts?" And I said, "Yeah, I do podcasts. I do different things like that." And we're just actually talking about leading our own lives, which is actually great that you actually open it like this to see that if we actually continue to go in circles in our leadership, it basically start deleting us and start breaking down our leadership and our values
Right.
as leaders
Right.
because we're not supposed to go in circles. We're supposed to project, for the propel, right? We only go around that circle only to learn the values that we have to learn that will actually instill leadership qualities in us, substance in us, integrity in us, but we can actually move forward in a forward direction. Not to backtrack and go back into the same situations and find ourselves in the same spaces. This is not our leadership. This means that our leadership is being tainted, is being affected,
Right.
right? And
Right.
if we continue to step on our own toes, it's going to be hard for us to increase.
Right.
And this is why I believe that this topic is so important because we need to understand how we're leading and in what spaces are we leading ourselves in. Are we
Right.
actually leading ourselves to have goals as leaders, or are we leading ourselves to have growth as leaders?
Okay. Okay. Um, and I want to say, and ask the question to you: do we have to have one without the other? Can they work in congruence with each other, where our goals
Mm.
are designed to give us growth?
Yep, I believe that they actually work simultaneously, but I
Okay.
also believe that when you're looking at goals, a lot of times it's like it's like a certain quality that you're trying to reach. I'm going to get to this point, and then that goal is over. I'm finished with that goal, right?
Okay.
And then that stops, and you have to go create a whole nother goal, right? But if
Okay.
we look at goal and have it open, the same way our leadership is open, our goals also be open to instill more growth through our goals.
Okay. Okay.
Not
You
yeah,
okay, go no,
yeah,
okay.
okay.
You mentioned a word going back about leadership. You mentioned integrity, and you also said value. What are our values? Our integrity.
That's right. That's right.
And and when we even look at uh who are we as leaders, and even if we narrow it down to the mother, to in your home, are you leading with values and integrity
Mm.
with, even within your home? Because
Even
I
within your
believe
home.
that it starts at home and then it grows abroad. If you're not practicing what you preach at home, then going out in our communities and not practicing that at home, then we being hypocritical? And is that why we're not being effective as leaders? Because we're actually not incorporating that into a day to day, minute by minute way that we react. And
Yeah,
when I go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, because I've actually came across scripture that says, as a leader, clean your own house and you can go and actually attend to the house of others, right? And this is a biblical thing. This is all in antiquity times before you and I was even thought about, right? On this cycle, he's on other cycles, but this cycle right here,
Right.
and, and it shows that it is a sound purpose to be who we are. That basically what it says is that be who you are at all times.
That's right.
That's basically what that means. Who you are, be who you are at all times with your friends, with your family, with the community. Don't be shifting. Don't have two different identities. You know, be the person that you want to be because that allows you to grow and have more strength in your life, have more value, more purpose. Your belief systems. They have to be a little open because you need more information to come into the belief systems to redevelop and rechannel higher levels of thought. Some people get into a belief system and they don't let it grow. They suffocate the belief system.
Right.
And when
Right.
that belief system is no longer have a purpose, they're suffocated with that belief system itself.
Right.
It
And you
rocks
know,
them.
that is so true. And I think um that is what happens a lot of time is we do not expand our minds because we get stuck on a certain thing.
Mm,
And if something is not if you're in anything, I this is what I believe. If you're associating with any body that is not encouraging you to grow and go beyond where you are today as far as elevating you, then maybe
mm.
we should question that, because sometimes people say, don't question, you're not supposed to question, you
No, you
know?
got to question all things.
Yes.
You have to question all things and everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
No one should be outside the rim of your questioning. And nothing
right.
should be outside the rim of your question. Even our last segment, we actually talked about Solomon. And we talked about Solomon going to speak to the trees, going to speak to
Hmm.
the animals, going to speak to the insects, and also going to speak to man and woman and children
Right,
to find
right,
out his questions, his deep seated questions that he needed to understand. What is life? What is life? He just kept
right.
asking the same question. What is life? And at the end of the day, he came to understand that life is him.
Right, right. And see, Bessie is saying to be authentic. I had actually written that. See, that's what it is all about when you talk about being authentic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is about. You
That's what it's
know,
about
being the same all the time.
all
Being
the
the
time.
same all the time. Did you have to take care of something, Nathaniel? Because if you do,
No,
I will carry on, for you.
no, go ahead. I'm listening to you. I'm just basically, doing two things
Oh,
at once.
okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Because
All right. All right.
no.
I'm so happy that you're doing that and I'm not because in addition to the internet going off, I'll be to hit a button and we'll be gone out in cyberspace somewhere. So
Yeah,
what Bessie is saying is to be authentic, and it is so freeing. See, this is the one thing that I learned about being authentic. It is gives you freedom. My business is freedom to live. I'm all about what will give us freedom and being authentic as a leader where you're not trying to maybe get over on anyone. You have your values in place where your values include the people that you're leading. You want one day that person to be able to lead or recognize their leadership abilities.
that's correct. That's correct. I believe that the more authentic that you are in the path that you actually take in, you feel alive. You open up like a can of worms, as they
Yes.
say. Like you actually feel like you become unstoppable, and nothing is in your way. You can move mountains, like Christ said. You can just shift everything out of your way.
Yes.
And being authentic gives you that audacity to be who you are.
That's right.
And to
Who
come
you
in the
were
world
created to be.
who you were
Yes.
created to be, coming in the world in the way you're supposed to be created to be, without any type of apologies. Like, I'm not gonna apologize
Yes.
for my success. I'm not gonna apologize for who I am, or actually who I'm becoming. Because a lot of leaders,
Right.
they always becoming. They're never just this set sound structure. They always becoming. They always evolving. You know what I mean? You go from one
Right.
space to another, but the space that you need to stay in is you.
That's right.
Because
Right.
you
And
start attaching your leadership to things and your possessions and the people that's in your life now. I'm a leader because this person is on my team and I could call this person as my mentor. When you start attaching your leadership to these things and to these people and to these opportunities, you lose your inner leadership because now you can be
right.
led. You can be led by those things now and they can overtake you.
Yes. Yes. That is so true. And that's what happens. That's when going back to integrity and value and your values as a leader. So that means doing a lot of reflection. And Nathaniel, I'm always talking about that reflection and that self
Mm-hmm.
examination because if you don't truly know who you are and you don't know your values and
Mm-hmm.
you have not set where you know that someone cannot cross this line with you, that you're not going to sell your soul for this or that,
You're in
and you
trouble.
have built a firm foundation, and that comes with knowing yourself,
From knowing
knowing
yourself
your value.
and getting to know yourself more. And through my different paths and things I've been on, it becomes scary at times when you tap into
Okay.
unknown sources. It's
Oh,
you're
yes.
not, yeah, you kind of shook, man. You're like, what's happening? Like what's really going on? Especially if you're moving from an authentic space. It starts building
Right.
you up, man, and it starts recreating you. It starts snatching things away from you that you feel was a purpose in your life, that you felt was a constant. You know what I'm saying? For your life, what the
Right.
woman said, we are constantly developing and evolving in our lives and new technology in a diverse world we live in. Yes, we're always doing this. This is if you see a car like a Tesla is evolving to the point where it can drive by itself and it can detect an accident. So if somebody coming too fast, it can speed up before a collision. You know what I'm saying? It can take electricity and also gas, right? If this car is able to evolve and move at the level that it's supposed to move at, what makes you think that you're not supposed to evolve and move at different levels?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And this is where we become stagnant sometimes because you think you know it all,
Oh
you
yes,
know, think
yes,
you've arrived. And
yes,
when
you're
and when we
right.
reach yeah, and when we reach that point in our development, that's death. That's death. And this is one reason I so admire you, Nathaniel, because you have reached a level in your development where you are willing to be vulnerable and as a leader and share what your knowledge without feeling as though someone is going to take something from you.
Can't take it. They can't take it. You can share these things, but they can't take it.
That's
You know,
right.
you may feel depleted by certain gifts that you give out. And I only say that on a spiritual level because, and even metaphysically, I've learned this by trial and error. Some gifts that you have don't belong to you. Let
Oh,
me say that
okay.
again. Some of the
Okay.
gifts that you have, they don't belong to you.
Okay.
They're given to you for a particular purpose, a particular person, a situation, a certain outcome, right? But they're not yours to hold and to keep and to squander. Some gifts are here to just move and just give out to others so they can also increase. And you don't have to see the people again. You don't have to have them on a subscription. You don't have to, have them on speed dial if you ever need anything. No, this is in passing. You're going passing and drop blessings. They drop seeds around the earth to different people. You know what I'm saying? It could be money, it could be resources, it could be tools, it could also be insight. You know what I'm saying? It could walk up to a person and just kiss them on the cheek or give somebody a hug, right? There's certain gifts that you have,
Yes.
right? that
Yes.
that not just for you, they're for other people. Because once you get to a level of abundance, it could become too much. So how do you create a balance? Give out.
Yes. Yes.
As you giving
You
out, you'll
know,
create more balance for yourself.
yeah, and that is comes to uh that if you want more, you should give more.
That's correct.
You're making space, you're making room for more blessings when when you share those blessings, give those blessings out, the abundance that you spoke of,
Abundance.
it makes room for more abundance for you, even though that may not be what you say, I'm going to help this person because I want more abundance, because it
That's
really
right.
doesn't work that way.
No. Have you ever seen that show, Hoarders? Have you ever seen a show called Hoarders?
I
Right.
know a hoarder. My father was a hoarder, so I didn't have
All
to
right. So you understand it, right? You jumping over boxes and TVs. You know what I'm saying? All type of other things, right? Just trying to get
you
to the
get
kitchen.
into the yard. There were motors and
Yeah, all type of
it,
stuff,
all
right? You're like,
kind
what's this? Where this come from? You know what I'm saying? What age? What time period did they make this statue over here? Like, where did he get this thing from? Right? It's, and it's the same way within ourselves.
right,
That same external concept is also internal. See, a
right,
lot of times we have to stop separating the external from the internal. The
right,
internal is showing us what we may be doing internally, how we actually live in our lives, and how we actually project and how we value in our lives. Like
right,
I read something the other day, and I didn't even want to share it, but because we're on this topic, I do want to share something. We said leadership come from the household, right? It was a black woman in Crown Heights this week that just passed. She has a 9-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old daughter.
mm-hmm.
She got into an altercation with her 9-year-old daughter and 12-year-old daughter because one of them must have lost a tablet or broke a tablet. And as a result, she wound up beating her 9-year-old daughter to death.
Oh,
And the 12-year-old daughter had to jump out the window and go to police and let them know what was going on. And she got so much in a rage behind this tablet. Like she attached so much to this tablet. She made this tablet seem like it was so significant that it was more important than the welfare of her own children. Right? It shows you that you cannot attach yourself to anything that becomes more profound and more purposeful than you. Nothing.
wow. Wow. That is really something to look at. That,
Really.
and the backstory to that is this person is here, has children, but doesn't really see value
The value.
in them. She saw more value in a that is really something to, when I say self-examination, I would love whoever is hearing, including me,
That's right, including me.
to, to look deeper
Uh-huh.
within ourselves and our hearts to see what we're attaching to that will
Yeah.
throw us off our path, that we could do
Correct.
something. Because, see, we have to know ourselves, and that to for that person to have done that, they didn't see themselves as they didn't see themselves as valuable.
That's right. They didn't see themselves as valuable. And that's what comes when I even look at a lot of leaders. Um, they lose value because they start attaching themselves to different things. And that's one of the greatest falls that I actually seen for leaders is to attach themselves, you know what I'm saying, to a substance that was created by another being, by another man, or by another woman. First of all, you didn't even create the tablet. It ain't like you was in the room all day working on the tablet. You know what I'm saying? You was soldering and everything like that. No.
Wow.
This came from another being that created that, and you brought that into your space. You brought that into your life, into your household, and you gave it
Mhm.
purpose. You gave it meaning to the point where you was able to go against a life force that could actually created that tablet on their own, right? And took their life from them. But you
Wow.
also took the life of your 12-year-old daughter too, even though she survived, right? You also
Mm.
alter her life as well because now she knows she has no more, she no longer have a 9-year-old sister anymore, right? And then she has a
Wow.
mother that's gone away for a long period of time, and she probably never forgive her for the act that she actually committed, right? And this is where we actually start putting
And
breaks in our
yes,
society where
right,
people are not able to heal
right,
because that's a
right,
that's a that's a strong thing to heal from, so you really gotta look at some of the things that you do. If you harm somebody, because everybody harm people every day, but will this person be able to heal from that type of harm?
right.
As a leader, you need to think about these things and the actions that you have. I was on a conference call the other day, and the man was telling the woman, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna help you do some stuff, and he just kept speaking about poverty and having wealth. And the woman she was baffled because she said, I'm in poverty. I used to know what wealth was, but at this time I'm
Mm.
I'm, I'm in poverty. And he kept telling her, well, this is your example for life. Take your example for life
Mm.
and run with it. But the way he was saying it, or the way she was perceiving it, even for me, it was like somebody trying to stuff a big pill down your throat, right?
Right,
To
right,
understand poverty and to get to know poverty. Listen, nobody needs to understand poverty, and nobody needs to get to understand poverty unless they're finding ways to uproot it. But to actually bring poverty into yourself, and I think that's a life lesson. It is not a life lesson,
right.
right?
You
It's
know, thinking about that, this past week I did, um, and I shared with you the speech that I gave. And
yeah.
one of the things that the topics I spoke on was compassion, compassion as a leader. And see, sometimes, and I'm thinking about this person that may have been pushing this fat pill down somebody's throat, is um, sometimes we as leaders see things that the people that we're leading may not see. But in order to help develop that, sometimes we have to spoon feed people.
Hmm.
Somebody, this may be something he may have seen. I felt a lesson that she may needed to know. But sometimes when you try to give a person that's a baby, say that person is a baby in a certain knowledge, do you give them a big chunk of meat to chew on
Nope. You don't
because
have no
it can
baby.
choke
Yeah.
you got
You
a
won't have no
baby
baby.
here.
That's right. Got a
Right,
baby here.
right,
Yeah, just because I'm a
right.
grown, see, just because you may feel I'm 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, does not mean that I may be in the space that you desire me to be in, right? Sometimes leaders desire people to be in certain spaces so they won't have to help them, right? They don't have to go
Mm,
to they don't have to go the extra mile. If that person is in a space that they want them to be at, they don't have to go the extra mile to assist that individual. There's no
okay,
challenge now. There's no
okay.
challenge if you
Yeah,
where
they,
if you
they
where I
want the
want you to
person
be
to
at. Already be where they gotta
they
be
want
at.
the person to already be there and not develop them,
That's right. They
not
want to be
help
there already.
develop them.
Yeah, they want you to have all these characteristics, all these innate skills and traits before they come to the table and say, "Let me assist you with this. Let me assist you with that." But let me show me what you already have, and then I'm going to assist you. They come in and they make hints at your progress, or they make hints at your platform or your purpose, and they give you nice little inklings to build on. But then they turn around and say, "Well, I see what you need, I see everything you got, but now I want you to take it and I want you to build it." And then after you build it, I want you to come and bring it back to me. That's double the work.
Wow. Wow. Without helping you find those building blocks that you need in order to bring the finished product, you just
Yeah.
throw out the idea and say, this is what I want, but without giving you any kind of direction on how to do that. So, as a leader, uh, that's so true, Nathaniel. That
It is.
happens so
It happens a lot. It happens a lot, man. You know, I run across it even when
wait,
I
and you
speak
know
to
what?
different.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I want to listen. I want to hear what you got to say.
No, we both here just so fascinated by this subject, but
Yeah,
you know, I love listening to what.
because leaders will call me. A lot of leaders will call me all the time. You know, and they working on this project, working on that project. I said, man, brother, you're a leader. Sister, you're a leader, right? And they'll be asking questions to me about certain things, and I'll be like, okay, well, here you go. You know, here, this is the answer to your question. This is the insight that I have. You know, this is for you. You actually,
Mhm.
first of all, and I look at it like this: if you asked me a question that I wasn't anticipating, that I wasn't ready for, that means the answer to that question that resonates in me actually belongs to you. It doesn't mean that I go into my bag and say, well, pay me this amount of money for that answer, right? Because first of all,
Mhm.
I wasn't even thinking about that question, right? That question wasn't even in my repertoire when I was actually building my workshops or building my trainings or building my leadership development. Someone actually came and asked me a question from the far, but I was able to have the answer. That means that it wasn't for me to hold; it was for me to release,
Right, right,
right? And
right,
when you release things to different leaders, they appreciate it because they say, "Wow, man, this person could have strung me along, and told me to sign up for their leadership program for $5,000 just for me to get that one answer." Because the person might
right.
just need that one answer from you. They might need your whole course. They
That's
might
right.
know somebody else that needs your whole course, but not they might not need your whole course.
You are so right that because in my coaching, I offer a consultation, a free consultation. Now, in my consultation, there have been so many times that during that 30 minutes, I have actually given the person what they needed
That's
in
correct.
order to go forward. They don't
That's
even
correct.
need my services after that,
No
which
more.
is
They don't need you
fine
no
with
more.
me. That's right. And that's okay with me
That's right.
because apparently this is what it was meant to be. See, I don't see, I see think it was meant to be that way.
That's right. If
And
they
I
need
don't feel
more,
like,
that's right. If they need more, they can come back for more. You know what I mean? But if you can answer that question in that 30-minute segment, that free consultation, why wouldn't you? Why would you
right,
hold back? Why would you hold back the answer? Right? That means
right,
that you're also, and you actually go, you say integrity, but also intuition, right? You start breaking down your intuition because you don't want to give the gifts that the universe is giving you to give out.
right, right, right. And that's why I always say that even though, I do am a coach and I have coaching packages and the money, but see, money has never been my motivation as a leader.
Yeah, that's right.
My motivation as a leader is to help build up humanity, to help humanity, and that means anyone that is willing to come to me and see that I have something to offer. I'm not going to hold back on what I see I can do to elevate you because of
Hmm.
that dollar bill. I see
That's right.
people as more than just dollar bills,
Yeah.
you
And when you
know.
go on platforms like LinkedIn and you on platforms like Twitter and stuff like that, a lot of people are concentrating on capitalistic natures. They all caught up
Right,
in capitalism. They all caught up in obtaining this thing or obtaining that thing or selling this thing or selling that thing. and not realizing that, you know, we are the gifts to one another, right? So I remember I was on a
Right.
platform. I was on this march I went to. They was doing an advocacy about, some people that was on Rikers Island. They had a lot of altercations down there and people losing their lives or whatever. And I remember, seeing a woman that I've seen many times over, during my path as a leader in these basic heart drenching, movements. These are heart drenching movements, right? And which will bring me to my next question. But I said to her, I said, yeah, I said, sister, man, it's always good to see you. She said, it's good to see you too. I said, I said, something came on me and I just got to share it with you. And she said, what it is? I said, well, I said, I said, you see the leaders that's out here, and you're in a very great position in life with you and your family, your husband, whatever. I said, you can't come down here and see what's happening without assisting these leaders to actually break the mold of these chains so they actually create better systems for one another to live on. I said, the reason why you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that because when you go to the spiritual plane, those of us that's going to be there, you're going to run into us and you're going to want us to actually fight for you and tell the Most High about who you were and what you did for us in our lives.
Right.
So don't be
Right.
selfish with your gifts down here if you want to be honored for your gifts when you get to the next plane.
Right. Right. And see, and that's what something that most people don't even consider is that we have to reap what we sow.
Yeah, we have to reap what we sow on a physical level as well as a spiritual level,
Yes.
right? We
Yes.
have to
Yes.
understand that because the same way, and even even when it's a scripture was talking about Abraham and how these rich men, they was leaders, they was rich, they was mocking the poor, and one of them went to hell. He called Abraham. Abraham said, "Yo, I can't help you, man." And the guy was like, "No." The guy said, "I don't want you to help me. I want you to help my brothers. My brothers are still in the land of living, and they're doing the same things that I used to do." And,
Mm-hmm.
and Abraham said, "Listen, man, you had the same lessons and the same teachings and the same doctrines that I had, and you chose
Mm-hmm.
not to go. You chose to go against them." He said, "Even I go back to your brothers as an operation, they're not going to believe it. They're only going to change their ways for a short period of time, and they're going to go back to who they are because their heart has turned cold, right?
Oh, you
And
said the magic word there, your heart.
heart turned cold. You don't want your heart to turn cold as a leader. You want to be in abundance, man. You want to be like that seed that's put in the ground that's always in abundance, that people can come by and grab a pear and grab a pear and grab an apple, right? You want to be that type of leader. And you don't want to be known by man. You also want to be known by the universe. You also want to be known by the Most High. You want to be known by life itself.
That's
You want
right.
you want the vicious pit bull to see you and just smile at you, right? Because he see you, he know who you are, right? He's not gonna
Right.
attack you, right? You want to see children gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" Out of nowhere. You're like, this is what the aura that you want for your life. It's about your aura. It's about your
Yes.
energy. And as you
Right.
doing these gifts and you giving out these gifts, you're building and building up your energy, right?
Right.
Which brings me
Right.
to yeah, our topic is creating space as a leader. How do you as a leader, create space? You know what I'm saying, for your leadership. What is one thing that you do that allows you to create space to be a leader within yourself?
Right. And that means being unselfish to create space for others, being unselfish, sharing what you have been given, you
Mm,
know, sharing what was freely given to you, and not always, as I said before, looking for what someone can do for and you create that space by being inclusive. Not sometimes we come in contact with people all the time that may not yet see their potential for being leaders. But
mm,
if you see that in someone, if I see that in someone, why would I be so selfish not to share the knowledge that has been given to me to help cultivate that person?
That's correct. That's
For
correct.
them to come into my space, come into my world where I can be make them feel welcome and make them feel free to share their lack of knowledge maybe in some
Mm-hmm.
area and not judge them because they do not know a certain thing.
Or because they was on a certain platform, and I see that a lot with a lot of leaders. They've been on certain platforms, and now they're not there anymore. And it's a bizarre thing to find yourself in that type of space, right? So you have to go back in and you have to tap in to that space that brought you to that leadership in the first place, right?
Right,
So you can redevelop yourself and have renew hope and purpose. You know what I'm saying,
right,
for your life. I see things as far as, meditating, you know, exercising, giving out compassion and empathy. You know, these things create space for you to be a leader. Being silent, like being still and being silent, is also a tactic that you can use to find leadership within you. You know what I'm saying? And to reignite it, because sometimes it can die out. It's like every other thing. It's all about that energy. And if you're not using that energy and you're not constantly in that room, you know what I'm saying? Turn that pot, and making these changes, you know what I mean? Your soup gonna stick to the pot, right? You're gonna be messed up, right?
yeah, you're
So
gonna have where that burnt stuff at the bottom where is messing up
yeah,
the whole dish.
that's everything.
And
Whole dish.
right, and you're so right, in that. See, as a leader, cultivating that ability to lead does mean that you have to be refueled, you know, as a leader, because if
Constantly.
constantly, constantly, because if you are constantly giving of yourself and you're constantly striving to help elevate others, that is taking energy. That is taking energy. So what do you do? That's why I'm always talking about, I'm such a big one on self-care.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
self-care for me does mean taking that time to be still, to meditate,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and to go out in nature, just like you were saying you were in the park today. To go out, because for me, one thing that I know is I'm part of this whole big universe.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
all
You're a part of it.
energy.
You're
I'm
a part of
part
it. It's
of it.
all you're a part of it. You're not. I'm not outside of it. I'm not your black man or your white man or your Chinese man or all the other concepts you got going on. I'm a part of the universe. I'm
That's right.
connected to the whole of the universe, right? And the universe brings out many gifts. It gives out gifts of money, where we see men that have basically been glorified for money, but we also see men that have been glorified for spirituality. And
Yes.
we still talk about those men and those women to today. They didn't have a dime to their name. And we still talk about these individuals. We got them on plaques. We done created statues of them. We done read multiple books and created multiple books about these individuals, right? We got pictures of them
Right.
in our households. We never even met these people. Why? Because it's an energy, right?
That's
It's
that's
stepping
right.
back into that energy that allow you to even get here. Like we speaking about the other last week, if you not without my grandmother or my great great grandmother, my great great grandfather, I wouldn't be here,
That's right.
right? So I can't take my existence for granted. I can't say, well, I'd have been here regardless. It doesn't matter. I still would have came here. If they didn't come together, I'd have been here anyway. No, don't take these things for granted, right? And don't take
That's
people for
right.
granted that's in your life, like that you feel because they in your life that they always supposed to be in your life, or they will always be in your life. You
That's
have to
right.
cultivate the people that brought you into the world. I don't care if somebody harmed you. I don't care if y'all had an argument or y'all have a disagreement. You got to look at things as far as I'm here.
Right.
Like I came to the playing field. Like somebody made room for me to come into this plane. Yeah, I'm gonna have disagreements. I disagree with them other close to 1 million cells that was actually kind of get to the egg before me. I had
You
to disagree with them too. They mad at me, you know what I'm saying? All those spirits mad at me because I got there, I got to the punchline, right? That's I'm a twin or something like that. I'm here by myself, right?
Right,
And then
right,
when I got there, the wound, the egg closed up, and everybody else splattered, right?
right,
But I got here, right? So
right,
we have to count our blessings, you know what I mean, as being leaders, as being beings in the world, and understand that we have a greater value than any of these things that we place in front of us, even the food and drinks
true.
that we have, because we don't
That's
need the food and drinks. If people think we need the food and drink, we don't need them in the
true.
substance that they have created them in. We don't need them. I
Right,
don't need a whole plate of spaghetti and beans and meat. I don't need that. I got one little piece of meat. It can sustain me the whole day.
or even see, I can speak on that all day as a holistic wellness coach
That's right.
about how much we, as far as our wellness and why some of us are so diseased,
Mm-hmm.
is because we are eating a lot of the wrong foods, thinking the wrong thoughts. We don't even consider. And you made a comment the other day about how, and especially the world we live in today, our thinking about food will and must change because we're entering into a time of famine. And some people
That's
may
right.
not understand
May not
that, or,
agree that they might not agree with it, but it is a fact. It's a fact. You can
you
see an
know,
economical famine taking place in the world. So because you can see economical famine, you also be able to see, the famine for food, right? When we go into these different agricultural spaces and stuff like that, they just had a whole big thing, a shortage for baby formula, right? And they had to make all these moves and actually to create new baby formula. It's going to translate into other things, right? And we have to change our identification because if you're getting $10 an hour or $15 an hour, even $20 an hour in this economy, that is a famine, right? Because
right.
you have men, even $30 an hour, it's a famine. It's a famine. You have
Look
men
at
and
this.
women who are multi-billionaires. That means it's a famine for you to make $20 an hour and work 40 hours or 35 hours a week to obtain that. That means that you are being subjected, I'm saying, to be exposed. I'm saying? And when that whirlwind comes, you're not going to be prepared. The Most High says this. He says, in the time of wealth, store up your wealth in 7, even 8 places, because you know not which way the wind blow. How many of us have stored up our riches, our wealth in 7, even 8 places? And he's not just talking about money. He's talking about
Right,
you. He's talking
right.
about you.
Yes. Okay. Nathaniel, you are saying so much there as a leader. See, as a leader, you are saying things that could help someone else understand what they should do in order to survive. And sometimes leaders do not take that part of leadership into consideration.
That's
But that's
correct.
all about creating space.
That's why creating space. Creating space. You got to realize something. In a time when Christ came down and he actually interacted with the apostles, because they don't talk about these things when you go into these churches or even different doctrines. When he was dealing with the apostles, right? He was letting the apostles know that things that happen to me, greater things going to happen to you,
Right,
right? You see what's happening to me, but greater things is going to happen to you. And he
right,
was telling them, listen, when you go through the land in righteousness. When you go into somebody's house, go into somebody's house with honor, with respect, with integrity. If they put something in front of you, even if you don't eat it, eat it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to have a disrespect, you know what I'm saying, to that household. You don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth. Why is he
right.
telling me that? Because you don't know who's going to help you in a time of trouble.
That's building up those different
wealth, the levels,
Wealth.
different levels of
You got
wealth.
wealth
Yeah,
over here, wealth
yeah,
over there, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't come in the form all the time as money.
That's right. It's not money. So when the apostles went into the land, he's being persecuted by the Romans. People was coming out their windows like, come here, right? And they would hide them in their basement. You know what I'm saying? They'll hide them in barrels and put hay on top of them, and they'll take them down the wall, lead them down the wall. You know what I mean? Through the back window, so they can escape because they bust into the house and try to search the house.
Right.
They stored up wealth amongst the people, not
Right.
your money. See, they misconstrued the scriptures. They think it's talking about money. You can add money to it, but it's not talking about money. It's talking about the well-being of man and your relationship that you have created throughout the land, and how you
Right.
will be determined and described. You know, I remember something one time. It was crazy. I remember it was a corner store, and they had a previous owner. The previous owner, he looked out for the community. You know, you could go in there, you could get a tab, you know, you could get things that you needed, and you could
Mm.
come back later on and pay him. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't pay him, he ain't worried about it because he's making so much money because people always come into his store. So he didn't care about those things. And I remember that he sold the store, right? So when he
Mhm.
sold the store, the people that were used to coming to the store and getting the things they needed until
Mhm.
Monday or Friday, stuff like that, they went into a brick wall because the new store owner didn't realize the relationship that the guy had already with the community.
Mhm.
So he didn't care about the relationship. He came in the store and was like, you know what? I'm doing things my way. Nobody getting credit. Nobody getting nothing. Right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But he was selling drugs out the store.
Wow.
Right? And
Yes.
the other guy was doing it too. But nobody said anything about it because he was helping the community. He was looking out for the community.
Mhm.
This guy, he put a brick wall up. So the people came to him and said, "Listen, man, you can't do it because you're doing something in our community that's illegal. And if you want us to protect you, you got to protect us. Ah, get out of here. You ain't trying to hear that. Get out of here."
Mm.
Anyway, the community got together and called the cops on him. Right?
I could have gave you the ending of that story.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't give me this ending.
Okay. It's not
This
ended
ending.
yet.
No,
That's
you can't give me this ending. You can't give me this ending.
okay.
The people called the cops on him.
Okay.
The police did a raid on the store. It had to be like 200 people outside the store.
Okay.
When he came out the store in handcuffs, everybody started clapping
Wow.
and started screaming, "Yay! Yay!" It was bizarre to see that.
Wow.
They
Wow.
all came in unity. It was like, yo, this guy
Wow.
home about community.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And he didn't want to help our community. We so happy that he's leaving. I've never seen that ever again.
That kind of unity.
That type of unity. I've never seen it. You know, they were so happy that they came and got this man, right? And I was, and I was like,
You know
oh
what?
wow,
This
this is crazy.
that
This is crazy.
there's got to be a great lesson in that.
Yeah.
There's
Know
got
what
to
you
be a
see, know what you're producing in the land, and know what seeds that have been gathered before you.
lesson.
And
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
try to change the seeds that's been
That's
gathered
right.
before you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You gotta
Right.
people go into leadership roles and they want to change everything without
Yes.
allowing people to have a substance, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
for
Right.
who they are as new leaders. You know,
Right.
like you said, slow walkers, man. Give us some milk. You know what I'm saying? Don't just give us a whole bunch of meat. Right? He
Right.
suffocated the people to the point where they was like, all right, man, he gotta get out of here. He got to go, man. We don't want this guy in our community
And you
anymore.
know what? You're so right because there that happens so many times in different leadership that one leader may leave the scene, and here comes a new leader, and they start implementing all these new policies and new there before they even take time to see and understand the people that they're leading and
That's correct.
understand what the previous leader did that had the people so
Mhm.
uh uh faith faithful and so
Yeah,
loyal
it's so
to that.
loyal and loving. Yeah,
Right. So
and
they
loving.
don't take time to do that.
No, and I see that
They don't.
also in my career. Yeah, they don't do it. I've seen the nonprofits, most of the nonprofits I've been in, I've seen some of those same qualities where nonprofits are coming to communities and they don't go to the communities and just talk to the people and get to know who the people are, get to know what their challenges are, and stuff like that. They go through some statistical form that they read online or some type of report some strange person had wrote for them about poverty in this community or drugs in this community, stuff like that. But they don't go in the community themselves and interact with the people and get to know what the people are unless they out there going
Right.
outreach so they
Right.
actually get
Right.
numbers, right?
Right.
But when you actually do that, you'll realize that there's certain tools and resources that people need for you to reach them. So
Right.
one time I was in a meeting and it was a white guy. He was a director. They had him a director of like 3 or 4 programs. And I said, how can one white guy direct 3 or 4 programs? It's a lot of professionals in here, right? And anyway, the guy said at the meeting, he said, I don't believe in incentives. And
Oh.
I said, and everybody else in the room was like, yes, yes, yes. And I said, what are you talking about, sir? I said, if you
Right.
don't believe in incentives in this community, that means you need to relocate into a community that don't need incentives. But this community right here, they need incentives. They need MetroCard, they need food, they need clothing, they need different things. This is why you in this community. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To counterattack the harm that's in the
Right.
community so that people can start to heal. You're here to
Right.
heal communities. You're not here to take substances and put them to yourselves and build
Right.
yourself up. You're here to heal the community. If the nonprofit's
Wow.
not healing the communities,
Wow.
then they're doing a disservice to the community. If they're not healing the
Wow.
communities, if they're not putting in
Wow.
structures to heal the community, right?
Wow.
Are they not assisting the community and going to different community boards or going to churches or different council meetings that's inside the community, not outside the community, but inside the community itself? They have come and did a disservice to that community. They done took up real estate, you know what I'm saying, and they took a purpose away that somebody else could have used just so they could accumulate money and basically create a status for themselves in the land. And they say,
Right.
I've been here 50 years, I've been here 100 years, I've been here 200 years. You're not supposed to be in a community for 200 years or 100 years and nobody knows you in the community. It's impossible for you to be
Wow.
in the
Now
community.
that's yes. That is so true, Nathaniel. And
How are
that's
you in the community for two? If a woman in my community live 100 years, everybody would know her. If I stayed at one community and I see this woman since I was a little kid and she wound up being 100 years and I stay in that community, I would know who that woman is. Even if I move out the community, they say such and such passed away. I was like, oh my God, I remember that woman. She used to give me candy.
right.
She
Right.
would do that
Right.
for me. I used to break her yard out and things of that nature. And I probably go and pay my last respects to her. I probably didn't see her for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. I would remember that woman.
Right.
Why you
Right.
don't know? Remember the nonprofits. Why I gotta go online and find what the nonprofit does if it's in my community? I supposed to already know what it does if it's in my community. Why I'm
Right.
researching it?
Right.
Because the leadership that's in the nonprofits are not coming into the community and not making themselves known and not freely sharing their tools and resources. They
Because
hard
they have an ultimate alternative reason
alternative.
for
That's
being
right.
there. It's not
For
to help
being
the
there,
community, it's to make the money.
to make the money to create a status quote for themselves and
Right.
things of that nature. And this right here rob leaders of being leaders in their community because if they go into nonprofits as leaders, they come out as workers.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
them, when they go in as leaders, they do not come back out as leaders. They come out as workers because they give away all their tools and their resources, their insight, their knowledge, and their wisdom, and these systems just suck it up,
Right.
and they put them in
Right.
the archives, and they don't want to open archives up and give them back to you when you need them, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you may lead an organization, you work there for 10 years, and you say, listen, man, I'm making a transition. This is a difficult transition. I need y'all to give me a bonus for severance pay or a bonus for $20,000 for free, so I can make this new path for myself.
Right.
You could
Right.
have bought 20 million in our organization, and they won't give you that 20,000. That
I
means they're
know.
not here
I
for the
know.
development
I
of the
know.
community, and they're
They,
not here for the development of the leaders themselves.
they are not making space for the
Space.
people that they need to make the space for.
That's
And I
correct.
want to ask you, Nathaniel, I'm going to leave for just a minute. I want to get a meditation for us
Yeah,
to
definitely, definitely. That'd be great.
okay for
I was
this
gonna say that.
before
Yeah,
we leave.
before we
I
break
want to
out.
get my meditation music. Okay,
Yeah,
just
so explain to the people what the music is for. The vibrations of the music, so they can have
okay.
an understanding of it.
Okay, I will do that. And I'm it'll be just a moment while I bring it up because this is something that I listen to quite often because it is the name of it is let go of all negative energy.
Mm.
And I can you hear it?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Um
Take it
when we
simple.
listen to different vibrational levels of music, it changes the hormones that are secreted into our bodies so that it will either excite us or calm us and put us in a state of mind where we can be still and we can start to understand ourselves better. We can become happier and freer in our thoughts and be able to lead with calmness and clarity of mind. So, this is at 432 hertz. Now, what I would like everyone to do is to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let it out slow. Take a deep breath. Let it out slow. Start to relax from the top of your head. Relax your face. Come down to your neck. Relax the muscles in your neck. Slowly revolve your head. Relax your neck. Slowly, slowly, slowly revolve your head. Relax your shoulders. Relax the muscles in your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Let it out slow. Come on down. Relax your arms. Relax your hands. Move on down your body, relaxing your legs. Relax your feet. Take a deep breath and let it out slow. When I count backwards from 5, I want us to open our eyes slowly and take a deep breath and let it out slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes slowly. Slowly open your eyes. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly.
That's
Peace,
right.
peace, and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Till next time, the next Sunday, guys. It's great talking to y'all. Create space for yourself as a leader, so you can lead yourself. You can be in your own, in your wisdom and your knowledge and your understanding, and as you allow what you create to carry you, for as far as it got to carry you, and that you connect to others because we're all here to connect. Good day, guys.